Hi guys, this tutorial is going to cover how to render with Maxwell. So you'll need to have your Maxwell toolbar visible. If it's not showing, you may be able to find it under View, Toolbars, and then Maxwell. Okay, so let's draw something. So we've got something to render. So if I go and get the rectangle tool, I'm just going to draw that. Push pull tool and extrude. Okay, so we've got something there that we can look at. Click on the fire button, and that then renders what you're seeing on screen. So it's quite hard to see, but there's a little white box there. So if we want to see that better, we can do a few things. We can use the applications background view. So to do that, we've got to go to the scene manager, and the background here, we can do things like sky. We could go physical sky. We can go and turn on the ground, and we can use the application ground. So check out this. So if I go to Window Styles, we can go to Edit, then we can click on the background settings, and then we can turn on the ground. So if I just go and refresh the fire preview, you now have a ground that you're seeing. So you can use the application's ground here, and you can change the color to be whatever you like. So this could be quite cool for just, quick renders. Okay, so we'll put that back to disabled. Right, so if we want the sky, we could turn on the sky there, and we could change the color of that. But it doesn't blend very well, so I would recommend possibly using a different type. So physical sky is quite good. You can turn then the sun on, and you can adjust the light to suit. It also helps if you do have a ground plane, whether it be that application ground plane or an actual surface, to be able to see the shadows. So it's quite hard to see shadows without that. And you can change the time of day. There we go, and then you can start to see the shadows occurring. Alright. So the next thing I would probably do is look at physical skies. So this is a sky option, and this is just one that we can play around with, but we can actually load and save custom skies. So if we were to go to the browse, that would open and launch a web browser. So I'll just bring that in, and we've got Maxwell skies and HDRIs. So if we go to Maxwell skies, we'll download a couple there. So we'll click on this one here, and we go download. And I just made a folder on my desktop, but you can save it wherever. So I'm just going to put that into skies, so white night, save that there. If I go to HDRI, you see there's a few in here that we can use as well. So maybe I might just use this cloudy one here. So I'm just going to download that, and I might create a folder for that called HDRI. So all you need to remember is where you've put this on your computer system. Alright, so once it's downloaded, you can then just go find it in a folder, and I can just right click and go extract here or extract all, and then that should make sure that it's no longer in the zip file. And also we've got HDRI, we're just going to right click on that, extract here. So we've got the HDRI file there too. Okay, so now back into SketchUp. We've downloaded the two sky files that we wanted. We can now go to open. So we're going to open up that white night and go open. And it automatically just uses the settings that were on the white night. And you can play around with some settings. So I would recommend just clicking on buttons, seeing what happens, and adjusting it to suit how you want it to look. The next option was the under type is the sky or the image based rendering. So if we go image based, we can go and see HDRI and go open, and then we can go and find that HDRI image that we downloaded. So I've got HDRI, open that image up, and it's quite hard to see. I might turn off the ground as well, so ground plane disabled. We need to increase its intensity, and you can start to see the skylight in the background. And you can do things like offset, so you can rotate it, and you can rotate it vertically and horizontally. If I turn back on that ground plane, then you can see you've got that sky background. You've got the scale as well, so you can decrease the scale so it's a bit smaller, so it just may look a little bit more realistic. Okay, so we'll just increase that, and we'll just adjust the shadows to suit. Okay, so let's say we want to now add some materials to this. We'll come over to here, just make things a little bit easier to see. Okay, if I go to the paint bucket, I'm just going to grab a generic material, so I'm just going to grab the green and put that on, refresh, and that will then update the fire model to suit. If we look at that, it's just a matte colour. So we can adjust the colour by clicking on the materials under the scene manager here, and again that one is this little button here, scene manager. We can change the roughness, so if I drag the roughness down, you can see that adds a shininess to the surface, and that then improves the reflection of the surface in the render view. And if I keep going, the shinier it is. So the less roughness, the more shiny, and you can start to see the surface reflecting the sky. Okay, so let's say we wanted to add a custom material. We can do that from any SketchUp material, so we can go and add corrugated iron, for example. Again, you need to refresh your rendering scene, and then you can see the corrugated iron there. And again, if you adjust the roughness, that makes it more and more reflective. Okay, another thing we can do is if we click on that browse button again, we can then go and download materials. So if we go MXN materials, there's a whole bunch of materials here that we can download. So if I go and find, so there's lots of pages, just so you know. I'm just going to click on any one just to show you how it works. So this bark material here, for example, click on download, and then we're going to go back to the resources, create a new folder and call it materials. Open this up, cracked bark, save. Again, right, show in the folder, extract it, right click, extract. And then we have this material here, and this is the MXN file that we're after, MXM file that we're after. So back into SketchUp, we first need to maybe apply a material, or maybe we don't need to, we'll just try it. So we'll go MXN, click on the open button, and then if I go back to materials, I can then find the bark, open. Alright, okay, and that actually opened it over top of that corrugated iron because that was a selected material. So I might just undo that if it can be undone. I might have to delete it. Okay, so let's go and create a material, and we're going to make sure that no texture image is ticked, set a new color, and then paint that surface there, and we'll just refresh. Okay, so that's better. Then while this red colour is selected, you can use your paint bucket plus the eyedropper, which is either Alt or Command on your keyboard if you're using a Mac. And then click on the folder to open, and we're going to go and open that cracked bark again. There we are. So you can see that's now been applied to that red surface. So that red essentially just represents the bark. You can go to the edit button if you want to. Yeah, we need the pro version, so we don't have that. We're going to get the free. So that's basically all we can do. We can just assign it, and it generally will look good. Apart from that, we can't really do much. Yeah. Just refresh. There we go. Not sure, looks a little bit buggy there, but it's applied it. We can also toggle it on and off, so you can click on MXM and that will toggle the material on and off, and you just need to refresh your button. Okay, so what else can we do? Okay, so what I'm going to do next is just open up a the building that we were working on. So if you go open in class previously, I'm just going to go and open up that file. Yours will obviously be located in a different area. Okay, so this is the room here. I'm going to click on Go to get it rendering. Alright, and if I go to the scene manager again, so it was already open, I'm going to go to the environment, and it looks like I've already assigned an environment to that, but again, you just will use what you did previously. You need to also set this to 800 pixels wide, so if I click on the cog here, you've got 800 pixels. That's the max we can do with the free version, so you need to do that. You also need to put in some furniture, and you may be able to use the furniture that you put in the previous exercise. But the idea behind this is to borrow some of the lighting properties and the shadows. So once you've got your scene here, you will then take it into Photoshop, and then you'll dress it up with some people, you'll add some extra shadows, some lighting. You can put textures in here if you wish. So for example, if I edited this surface, I can go paint bucket, create a new material, and then apply it to that surface, and then click on the re-export. Give it some time. It's now assigned that blue. Once the blue's on there, then it's easy to edit it. We can go to the edit button. We can change the color, the RGB, so you can make it whatever color you want. We can link to application, which is definitely a must. Matte, no, so we can adjust that as well, so it's not a matte surface. If we then go back to the character here, this is the first one, character, we can then make it not so rough, which would make it like a matte finish, slightly reflective. And then what you need to do is just give the preview time to create the image. So again, I just want you to use this as a base image that you can then take into Photoshop and then dress up with your Photoshop techniques that you already have learned. If you have any questions, feel free to email me.